Imagine planning your dream vacation to an exotic destination, only to find out that you're no longer welcome there. Whether due to political tensions, health crises, or other unforeseen events, some countries have decided to close their doors to American travelers in 2024. Which countries have made this shocking decision? And what does it mean for your travel plans? Let's dive into the 10 countries where Americans are no longer allowed to visit this year and the reasons behind it. Welcome to Globe Discoveries, your go-to channel for exploring the world's most fascinating stories and travel destinations. In today's video, we're uncovering a list of countries where Americans can't visit anymore in 2024. We'll explore the reasons behind these travel bans, share some personal stories, and even offer alternative destinations you might consider instead. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe
Hit the like button.
and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest travel news and global insights. Ready to find out which countries have shut their borders to Americans? Let's get into it. Number 10. North Korea. Kicking off our list is a country that has long been known for its secrecy and isolation. Although it's never been a popular tourist destination for Americans, the reclusive state officially closed its borders to us citizens in 2024, citing heightened tensions and security concerns. The U.S. and North Korea have had a fraught relationship for decades, with moments of intense hostility interspersed with brief periods of diplomatic engagement. In 2024, relations between the two countries deteriorated once again due to North Korea's continued nuclear tests and the U.S.'s imposition of stricter sanctions. The North Korean government responded by banning all American visitors, citing national security concerns and the desire to prevent espionage. In addition to political tensions, North Korea has been grappling with public health challenges, including a lack of access to modern medical care and the ongoing effects of international sanctions. The country's healthcare infrastructure is severely underdeveloped, making it difficult to manage outbreaks of infectious diseases. North Korea has also been wary of allowing foreigners into the country for fear of introducing new diseases that could overwhelm its fragile health system. For the few adventurous Americans who had visited North Korea in the past, the experience was surreal and eye-opening. However, those who were planning a visit in 2024 found their plans abruptly canceled. Travel agencies that specialized in arranging trips to North Korea reported a surge in inquiries about alternative destinations as disappointed travelers looked for other options. North Korea's decision to ban American travelers in 2024 is a reflection of the ongoing tensions between the two countries and the challenges the regime faces in managing both its security and public health. While it's unlikely that North Korea will become a top tourist destination anytime soon, its closed borders add another layer of intrigue to this already enigmatic country. Number 9. Russia. Next on our list is Russia, a country that has been a major player on the world stage for centuries. However, due to escalating political tensions and security concerns, Russia has decided to close its borders to American travelers in 2024. Relations between the United States and Russia have been strained for years, but in 2024, they hit a new low. Following allegations of election interference, cyber attacks, and espionage, both countries imposed new sanctions on each other. In response, Russia announced that it would no longer issue visas to American citizens, effectively barring them from entering the country. The Russian government cited concerns over the safety of its citizens and the need to protect national security as reasons for the ban. The travel ban has had a significant impact on Russia's tourism industry, particularly in cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, which have long been popular with American tourists. In 2023, over 300,000 Americans visited Russia, contributing millions of dollars to the local economy. With the ban in place, Russian tour operators and hospitality businesses are feeling the pinch as they scramble to attract visitors from other parts of the world. For Americans with Russian heritage or family ties, the travel ban has been particularly painful. Many had planned to visit relatives or explore their cultural roots, only to find themselves barred from entry. Some are now turning to virtual meetings and online tours to stay connected with their heritage. Russia's decision to close its borders to American travelers in 2024 is a clear sign of the deepening rift between the two countries. While the ban is likely to hurt Russia's tourism industry, it also reflects the broader geopolitical tensions that continue to shape the relationship between the US and Russia. Number 8. Iran. Iran, a country rich in history and culture, has long been a destination for travelers interested in ancient civilizations and stunning architecture. However, in 2024, Iran officially banned American tourists, citing political and security concerns. The relationship between the US and Iran has been contentious for decades, and 2024 saw a further escalation in tensions. Following a series of diplomatic disputes, including disagreements over nuclear policy and sanctions, Iran decided to prohibit American visitors. The Iranian government cited concerns over potential espionage and the need to protect its citizens from perceived foreign threats. Iran's decision to ban American tourists has had a significant impact on cultural exchange. American visitors were once a small but steady presence in Iran's museums, historical sites, and bazaars, contributing to a deeper understanding between the two nations. With the travel ban in place, these opportunities for cultural exchange have been severely curtailed. In 2019, Iran welcomed over 1 million international tourists, including a significant number of Americans. A graph comparing these numbers with 2024, where American visitor numbers have dropped to zero, would starkly illustrate the impact of the ban. Many Americans who had previously visited Iran recall it as a country of incredible hospitality and warmth. For those who had planned to visit in 2024, the travel ban came as a disappointment. Some have expressed hope that diplomatic relations will improve in the future, allowing them to visit this culturally rich nation once again. Iran's travel ban on Americans in 2024 is a reflection of ongoing political tensions between the two countries. While it's a loss for cultural exchange and tourism, the ban highlights the complexities of international relations in a region marked by conflict and mistrust. Number 7. Cuba. Cuba, the Caribbean island with a vibrant culture and a complicated history with the United States, is next on our list. In 2024, Cuba reinstated a ban on American tourists, reversing a brief period of openness that had allowed for increased travel between the two countries. The US and Cuba have had a tumultuous relationship for over half a century, marked by embargoes, diplomatic standoffs, and brief moments of reconciliation. In 2016, the Obama administration restored diplomatic relations with Cuba, leading to a surge in American tourists eager to explore the island. However, tensions have since escalated, particularly under subsequent US administrations that reimposed sanctions and travel restrictions. In 2024, Cuba responded by banning American tourists altogether, citing the need to protect its sovereignty from foreign influence. Cuba's economy has traditionally relied heavily on tourism, and the brief influx of American visitors in the late 2010s provided a much-needed boost. With the 2024 ban, the Cuban tourism industry is once again facing challenges, as it must now attract visitors from other parts of the world. According to Cuba's Ministry of Tourism, the island saw a 20% drop in international arrivals in the first half of 2024 compared to the previous year. For many Americans, the chance to visit Cuba was a rare opportunity to experience a country that had been off-limits for decades. Those who visited before the 2024 ban often speak of the vibrant music, colorful architecture, and the warmth of the Cuban people. Unfortunately, for those who were planning to visit in 2024, these experiences will have to wait. Cuba is famous for its classic American cars from the 1950s, lovingly maintained and still in use on the island. Ironically, while American cars are a common sight in Cuba, American tourists are now a rarity. Cuba's decision to ban American tourists in 2024 is a reflection of the ongoing political tensions between the two countries. While the island remains a popular destination for travelers from other parts of the world, the absence of American tourists is a significant blow to Cuba's tourism industry. The ban underscores the fragile nature of U.S.-Cuban relations and the impact of international politics on travel and cultural exchange. Number 6. Venezuela. Venezuela, once one of South America's wealthiest nations, has become a country mired in economic and political turmoil. In 2024, the Venezuelan government officially barred American citizens from entering the country, citing national security concerns. The relationship between the United States and Venezuela has been strained for years, particularly as the U.S. has supported opposition forces against the Venezuelan government. Economic sanctions imposed by the U.S. have further exacerbated Venezuela's already dire economic situations, leading to hyperinflation, food shortages, and widespread poverty. In response to what it views as U.S. interference in its internal affairs, the Venezuelan government decided to ban American travelers as part of its broader strategy to isolate itself from Western influence. Even before the official travel ban, Venezuela was considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world due to its high crime rates and political instability. The U.S. State Department had issued numerous travel advisories warning Americans against visiting the country, citing risks of kidnapping, violent crime, and civil unrest. The 2024 ban formalizes what had already been an unspoken rule. Venezuela is not safe for American tourists. Some Americans had traveled to Venezuela in the past, either for work, adventure, or to visit family. However, as the situation in the country worsened, many found it increasingly difficult to navigate the challenges of daily life, including access to basic necessities like food and medicine. The 2024 ban has cut off these ties completely, leaving expatriates and families separated by a ban that shows no signs of being lifted anytime soon. For those who had hoped to explore South America, there are still many other beautiful and safer alternatives to consider. Countries like Colombia, Brazil, and Argentina offer rich cultural experiences and stunning landscapes without the risks associated with Venezuela. Venezuela's travel ban on Americans in 2024 is a stark reflection of the country's ongoing political and economic crisis. While the ban might serve the government's interests, it further isolates the Venezuelan people from the rest of the world and underscores the dangers of travel in a region beset by instability. Number 5. Libya. Libya, a country that has been in a state of turmoil since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, is next on our list. In 2024, the Libyan government, or what remains of it amidst ongoing conflict, officially banned American travelers, citing national security and the chaotic state of the country. Libya has been torn apart by civil war, with various factions vying for control over different parts of the country. The instability has made Libya one of the most dangerous places in the world, with frequent outbreaks of violence, terrorism, and kidnappings. The U.S. government has long warned its citizens against traveling to Libya, but in 2024, the Libyan authorities took it a step further by formally banning Americans from entering the country, citing the risk of espionage and further destabilization. The ongoing conflict in Libya has led to a severe humanitarian crisis, with millions of people displaced and in need of basic necessities like food, water, and medical care. The lack of a stable government and the presence of multiple armed groups make it difficult for international aid to reach those in need. The ban on American travelers is also a reflection of the broader distrust of Western involvement in the region. A map showing the regions of Libya controlled by different factions, overlaid with markers indicating areas of high conflict and risk, would provide a stark visual of why Libya has become a no-go zone for Americans. There are few, if any, personal stories from Americans who have recently visited Libya due to the extreme risks involved. Those who were once stationed in the country for diplomatic or humanitarian work often speak of the rapid deterioration of the security situation and the heartbreak of seeing a country with such potential descend into chaos. Libya's decision to ban American travelers in 2024 is a reflection of the ongoing conflict and instability that has plagued the country for over a decade. While the ban is unlikely to affect many American tourists, it highlights the broader challenges facing Libya as it struggles to find peace and stability. Number 4. Yemen. Yemen, a country with a rich history and culture, has become synonymous with war and humanitarian disaster in recent years. In 2024, the Yemeni government, influenced by ongoing conflict, officially closed its borders to American citizens. Yemen has been engulfed in a brutal civil war since 2015, with the country divided between the Houthi rebels and the internationally recognized government. The conflict has devastated the country, leading to one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The situation in Yemen is so dire that it's unsafe for most foreign nationals to visit, and in 2024, the Yemeni government banned Americans from entering, citing the risk of further complicating the conflict and the safety concerns for both visitors and locals. The war in Yemen has led to widespread famine, disease outbreaks, and displacement. Over 24 million Yemenis are in need of humanitarian assistance, and the conflict has destroyed much of the country's infrastructure. The travel ban on Americans is part of a broader isolation as Yemen tries to manage its internal crisis without foreign interference, which it perceives as exacerbating the situation. For the few Americans who have been involved in humanitarian efforts in Yemen, the travel ban is a tragic but necessary step given the ongoing conflict. Those who have worked in Yemen speak of the deep sadness of seeing a country with such a rich history and culture reduced to ruins by war. The ban has made it even more difficult for international aid workers to provide assistance. further complicating the already dire situation. Yemen's decision to ban American travelers in 2024 is a reflection of the ongoing war and humanitarian crisis that has devastated the country. While the ban is a necessary safety measure, it also highlights the isolation and challenges facing Yemen as it tries to navigate a path to peace. Number 3. Afghanistan. Afghanistan, a country that has been at the center of global conflict for decades, is another place where Americans are no longer welcome in 2024. The Taliban, now in control of the country, has decided to close its borders to American citizens. The relationship between the United States and Afghanistan has been complex and tumultuous, particularly following the U.S. withdrawal in 2021 and the subsequent takeover by the Taliban. In 2024, the Taliban government, seeking to assert its authority and independence, announced a ban on American travelers, citing the need to prevent any potential interference in their domestic affairs. Even before the travel ban, Afghanistan was considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world, with high risks of terrorism, kidnapping, and civil unrest. The U.S. State Department had long advised against travel to Afghanistan, but the 2024 ban makes it official. Americans are no longer allowed to visit. Afghanistan continues to face significant humanitarian challenges, including widespread poverty, food insecurity, and limited access to health care. The Taliban's isolationist policies have made it difficult for international aid organizations to operate in the country, and the ban on American travelers further limits the ability of NGOs to provide much-needed assistance. For the Americans who have served in Afghanistan, whether in the military or in humanitarian roles, the travel ban is a bittersweet confirmation of the country's ongoing struggles. Many have expressed concern for the Afghan people, who continue to face hardship under Taliban rule. The ban also marks the end of any remaining efforts to maintain cultural or diplomatic ties between the two nations. Afghanistan's travel ban on Americans in 2024 is a reflection of the country's ongoing instability and the Taliban's desire to distance itself from Western influence. While the ban is unlikely to affect many tourists, it underscores the challenges facing Afghanistan as it continues to grapple with conflict and humanitarian crises. Number 2. Syria. Syria, a country ravaged by civil war and conflict for over a decade, is another destination that has become off-limits to Americans in 2024. The Syrian government, seeking to consolidate power and control, has banned American citizens from entering the country. The Syrian civil war, which began in 2011, has left the country in ruins, with millions displaced and hundreds of thousands killed. Although the conflict has diminished in intensity, Syria remains highly unstable, with various factions still controlling different parts of the country. In 2024, the Syrian government, led by President Bashar al-Assad, officially banned American travelers, citing concerns over espionage, terrorism, and the potential for further destabilization caused by foreign influence. Syria's civil war has created one of the worst humanitarian crises in modern history. Over 13 million Syrians have been displaced, both internally and as refugees in other countries. The country's infrastructure, including healthcare, education, and basic services, has been decimated. The travel ban is part of Syria's broader strategy to isolate itself from foreign intervention, which it blames for much of the destruction the country has endured. Few Americans have visited Syria in recent years due to the extreme danger posed by the ongoing conflict. Those who have worked in humanitarian roles or as journalists often recount harrowing stories of the devastation they witnessed. The 2024 ban cuts off what little access remained, further isolating Syria from the global community. For those interested in exploring the ancient history of the Middle East, Jordan and Lebanon offer safer alternatives. These countries are home to incredible historical sites like Petra and Baalbek, which, like Syria's Palmyra, are steeped in history and culture. Syria's decision to ban American travelers in 2024 is a reflection of the country's ongoing civil conflict and the government's efforts to maintain control in a deeply fractured nation. While the ban may seem symbolic given the dangers of travel in Syria, it highlights the continued isolation of a country struggling to rebuild amid ongoing violence and instability. Number 1. Myanmar. Topping our list is Myanmar, also known as Burma, a Southeast Asian country that has experienced significant turmoil in recent years. In 2024, the Myanmar government, now under the control of the military junta, banned American citizens from entering the country. Myanmar has been in a state of crisis since the military coup in February 2021, which overthrew the democratically elected government. The military's brutal crackdown on pro-democracy protesters and ethnic minorities has led to widespread condemnation from the international community. In response to increasing international sanctions and criticism, the junta has moved to further isolate Myanmar by banning travelers from countries it perceives as hostile, including the United States. The military junta has been accused of numerous human rights violations, including the killing of protesters, the imprisonment of political opponents, and the persecution of ethnic minorities like the Rohingya. The travel ban on Americans is part of the junta's broader strategy to suppress dissent and control the narrative within the country by limiting foreign access and influence. Before the coup, Myanmar was emerging as a popular tourist destination, known for its stunning temples, rich cultural heritage, and natural beauty. However, the political situation has led to a dramatic decline in tourism, with visitor numbers dropping by over 90% since 2020. The 2024 ban on American travelers further diminishes Myanmar's prospects of reviving its tourism industry in the near future. Americans who visited Myanmar before the coup often speak of the incredible warmth and hospitality of the Burmese people, as well as the breathtaking beauty of sites like Bagan and Inno Lake. Unfortunately, those memories now feel bittersweet, as the country's current political situation makes it unsafe for foreigners to visit. Myanmar's decision to ban American travelers in 2024 is a reflection of the country's ongoing political turmoil and the military junta's efforts to isolate itself from international scrutiny. The ban is a tragic reminder of the country's descent into authoritarianism and the challenges it faces as it struggles to find a path forward. The impact of travel bans on global tourism. These travel bans don't just affect the countries that impose them, they have ripple effects across the global tourism industry. Hotels, airlines, and travel agencies lose revenue, and cultural exchanges that foster understanding and peace are stifled. The bans can also impact the local economies of these countries, particularly in regions where tourism was a major source of income. Future outlook: will these bans be lifted? While these bans are in place for 2024, international relations are always evolving. Some of these countries may reopen their borders to American travelers in the future, depending on changes in political leadership, diplomatic efforts, or improvements in security. However, for now, these destinations remain off-limits. If you found this video informative and want to stay updated on global travel trends, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and ring the notification bell. At Globe Discoveries, we're committed to bringing you the latest insights on travel, culture, and international news. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll explore the safest countries for American travelers in 2024. As we've seen, the world is constantly changing, and so are the places we can visit. The 10 countries on this list have all made the decision to close their doors to American travelers in 2024, each for their own reasons. While these travel bans are disappointing, they also remind us of the complexities of international relations and the importance of staying informed as global citizens. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the 10 countries Americans can't visit anymore in 2024. Until next time, keep exploring the world with Globe Discoveries, whether in person or from the comfort of your home.